Millionaire Ethan Carter, amazed to find out a black homeless woman fixed his Tesla out of love. The news spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire's Tesla miraculosamente fixed by street-smart heroine." People couldn't believe it. Ethan Carter, the tech titan worth billions, was stunned when his sleek electric car sputtered to a near stop in the heart of a forgotten neighborhood. A place crowded with cracked sidewalks, graffiti-stained walls, and vacant eyes hardened by hardship. Ethan, driving too fast in his polished world, barely caught the sharp curve ahead. The tires screeched, a deafening snap of metal on concrete. The crash was brutal. His car slammed into a rusted fence, the air thick with dust and tension. His heart slammed in his chest like a drum. Shaken, Ethan stumbled out, chest tight, skin slick with cold sweat. The neighborhood was unlike anything he knew. The gutters overflowed. The streetlights flickered. But somewhere in the chaos, a quiet figure wall. Once, they said, she was a brilliant software engineer. Now, she was a ghost among the city's forgotten. A black woman pushed out by the sharp edges of inequality. She didn't approach at first, just stood there, watching as Ethan wrestled with his broken car and broken pride. Later, when Ethan returned to his car, heart heavy and mind numb, he found a note tucked under the windshield wiper. The handwriting was neat, but rushed. Your car needed a fix. So did you. Keep fighting. Ha 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 ha. Maya, that note, it shook him. His hands trembled as his eyes traced the words again and again. Who was this woman? How had she fixed a Tesla without tools? His curiosity sparked a fire. He needed to know her story. Days passed. Ethan dove into Maya's world. Cracked streets, the smell of bird trash, voices whispering stories of survival. She told him about her fall. Layoffs, betrayals, doors slammed shut. Yet in her voice there was no defeat. Only fierce resilience. Then came the bombshell. Maya knew about an AI project Ethan had abandoned years ago. A project so revolutionary, it could change the world or ruin it. She'd kept parts of it alive in her own way. Quietly hacking, coding, dreaming. Ethan's world flipped. This was no coincidence. Rival investors were sniffing, waiting for a crack. The media circled like vultures, hungry for scandals. An angle on the billionaire and the homeless woman was a story too juicy to pass. The very things Ethan wanted to hide were exposed, messy, and real. His fortune suddenly felt like a cage, and there was Maya. Her gaze steady, her past and future tangled with his in ways he never expected. Would he let go of his empire to stand with her, or slip back into his silver towers and forget the streets? The city buzzed around him, judging, whispering, watching. Ethan sat in his once pristine office, the city lights flickering like the streetlights where Maya had lived. The note was folded on his desk. His fingers hovered over it. His heart hammered. The choice loomed, and neither of them knew what waiting would bring. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like. That really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Ethan sat there, heart pounding, the note gripped tightly in his hand. His mind raced. Was it really possible for Maya to hold the key to that project? The weight of the world settled heavily on his shoulders, and thoughts swirled wildly. Doubt, hope, fear. But even as he wrestled with the enormity of the decision, an urgent knock on his office door shattered his thoughts. It swung open, revealing Rachel, his assistant. Her face was pale, eyes wide, breathless with urgency. "Ethan, you need to see this." "See what?" He stood, suddenly on high alert. Without waiting, Rachel rushed to his desk and turned the monitor toward him. His gut twisted as he read the headlines flashing across the screen. "Billionaire's heroic benefactor exposed! A criminal past?" "What the hell?" Ethan's voice rose, disbelief settling in. Rachel continued. "They've linked Maya to a series of robberies. And worse, they've got pictures." Each word struck Ethan like a punch. His mind flashed to all he'd learned about her. The resilience in her eyes, the dream she still carried like sacred weight. Could it be true? He turned back to Rachel, his throat dry. Could it be a mistake? Look at the source. But before she could respond, a notification chimed. Footage rolled. The Grady video showed Maya, face obscured by a hood, entering a crumbling building with an unmistakable swagger. A faint glimmer of something in her hand? A crowbar? Ethan felt bile rise in his throat. It didn't align. This wasn't the woman he knew, but the world didn't care about his vague uncertainties. The city? A media. They'd already decided what the story was. He closed his eyes, struggling with the noise in his head. Why hadn't she told me? Rachel leaned in, her voice tight. People are already talking. They're saying she set you up. A clever way to manipulate the system. Walls seemed to close in. The weight of his privilege suddenly felt like a heavy chain. He couldn't just ignore the noise. It buzzed too loud, echoing through his mind. Yet he remembered her gaze when she'd spoken of her struggles. There was no malicious intent, just a raw will to survive. "Rachel, we need to find her," he blurted, voice steady despite the chaos. "Now, Ethan, you can't be serious. This will ruin you." "Ruin me? Or expose the truth?" "I can't let this go unchallenged. Not when I know who she really is." Panic flickered across Rachel's face, and in that moment, a hard truth settled between them. The choice lay before him, not just about Maya, but his own image in a world that craved scandal, that fed on ruin. Suddenly, his phone buzzed violently on the desk. He grabbed it instinctively and saw a text from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old cafe on 5th. There's more to Maya than you know. You've been played." Ethan's breath caught. Who was this? What did they know? As he looked up, a storm brewed outside his office. A flash of lightning tore through the sky, illuminating the city just beyond the glass. The air felt electric, alive with tension. Silence. What lay ahead felt darker than he could comprehend. He faced the choice again. Was this a trap? Or the chance to uncover the truth? The clock ticked. Time was slipping, and chaos whispered in the shadows. Would he dare to follow the thread? Would he risk everything to know who Maya truly was? The uncertainty hung heavy, like the storm about to break loose. Ethan sat in the dim glow of his office, the city's pulse reverberating through the walls. He stared at the note, the words burning in his mind. Would he be brave enough to step away from everything he knew? But just as the weight of his decision pressed down on him, the ground trembled beneath his feet. An explosion ripped through the calm of Chicago. The sound was thunderous, a deafening blast that shattered windows, sending glass raining down like icy rain. Ethan jumped from his chair, heart racing, pulse pounding in his ears. Fire lit up the night outside. His office shook, the walls vibrating like a living thing. Chaos erupted. Sirens wailed, bright lights began to flash, and frantic voices filled the air. Ethan raced to the window, eyes wide. He could see flames licking at the sky, thick black smoke coiling up, wrapping itself around buildings. Just down the street, there was a commotion. A crowd gathered, panic etched on every face. Shadows of fear darting back and forth. Then he saw her, Maya, out there in the frenzy. She was standing still amidst the chaos, her eyes locked on the burning building. It was the old town library, a place where she told him stories of her past, a refuge for many. And in that moment, he realized something was wrong. Her expression twisted into something he'd never seen. A flash of anguish, a flicker of recognition. Parts racing, Ethan rushed down the stairs, his chest tight. He needed to get to her. As he burst through the doors, a wave of heat hit him like a freight train. The scent of smoke clawed at his throat as he pushed through the crowd, desperation driving him forward. "Maya!" he shouted. But the sound of the sirens drowned him out. People shoved past him in a frenzy, eyes darting, faces pale with fear. The world spun. Ethan fought against the tide, inching closer, adrenaline surging. "Maya!" he called again, louder this time. And then, a screech of brakes followed by a terrible crash. A delivery truck had lost its brakes, slamming into the crowd. The sound was sickening, a body being crushed beneath metal. A jolt went through him. Panic swept over the people. They scattered, screams slicing through the night. Ethan felt horror sink into him. But there, at the edge of the chaos, was Maya, still standing, wide-eyed. As he reached her, she turned sharply, and for a split second, he caught a glimpse of something glinting in her hand. A small, metallic object catching the fiery light. "We need to go!" she shouted, her voice almost lost in the upheaval. But before he could comprehend what was happening, their world shook again. Another explosion, closer this time. The ground trembling violently beneath them. "Maya!" Ethan yelled, but she didn't respond. Her gaze was locked on something behind him, a look of pure shock contorting her features. Just then, the hidden truth crashed violently into their lives. The small device in her hand wasn't just a gadget. It was a prototype of the AI project Ethan had abandoned. One that was thought to have been destroyed long ago. "Maya," he gasped, hands trembling. "What did you do?" Before she could answer, another explosion roared. A fiery flower bursting forth from the building, and in the chaos, Maya stumbled. She dropped the device. Time slowed as it hit the ground, and before he could reach for it, a fierce burst of flame shot out, enveloping it. With the rush of heat, Ethan's heart sank. Everything shifted with a terrifying clarity. The truth about Maya, about the project, and the disaster unfolding around them twisted together like a storm. As they both stumbled back, wide-eyed in shock, Ethan realized this wasn't just about a woman and a billionaire. This was about everything he'd ever built, and the fire that would consume it all. A dark laugh bubbled in the depths of turmoil and fear, wrapping around Ethan. Could he trust Maya? Was she just a survivor, or something far more dangerous? The smoke thickened, engulfing them in uncertainty. The night was full of waiting. Just before the world turned upside down, Ethan and Maya stood there, the chaos swirling around them like a storm. The flames danced, crackling, filling the air with an acrid stench. His heart roared in his ears as he locked eyes with her. "What's happening, Maya?" he yelled, desperation lacing his voice. Before she could answer, another explosion erupted. A deafening roar that sent a shockwave coursing through them. Ethan stumbled back, barely catching himself as shards of debris rained down. People screamed, some fell, others ran in panic. But Maya didn't move. She was transfixed, her eyes wide, as if she were watching something beyond the fire. "Maya!" He grabbed her arm, yanking her back. "We have to go." She blinked, but the shock lingered. "No, we can't leave. I need to find... It's not what you think." Her voice broke, urgency threading through her words. "What do you mean?" he pleaded, confusion gnawing at him. "That device? Is that what you need?" "Yes, it's not just a gadget. It holds everything." Her voice was frantic, raw. "Everything? What the hell does that mean?" But before she could respond, the ground shuddered again. Ethan looked around, panic rising, more fire, more chaos. Everything felt like it was falling apart. Then, through the smoky haze, he saw something. A shadow, darting, flickering between the flickering flames. A figure emerged, pushing through the crowd, calm amidst the storm. Ethan squinted, heart racing. "Who is that?" he muttered, uncertainty gripping him. Maya's eyes narrowed, recognition dawning. No, it can't be. A woman stepped closer, her features illuminated by the fiery glow. Long, dark hair framing her face, a sharp gaze striking through the confusion. Ethan felt a shiver slide down his spine. She was dressed neatly, impossibly out of place in the chaos. As she approached, the crowd seemed to part for her, whispers rippling through the throng. "I knew you would come, Maya," she called, her voice cutting through the tumult like a knife. "Leela," Maya hissed, anger and fear intertwining in her tone. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to finish what we started," Leela replied, her smirk almost mocking. "This was never about you. You were just a pawn." Ethan stepped back, disbelief twisting in his gut. "What is she talking about?" he demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. "What have you done?" Maya's face burned with humiliation and rage. "I didn't want you to know. I tried to get out, but she made me do things." "Things you're still doing," Lila interrupted, her laugh cold. "Did you really think you could just walk away? This device is only the tip of the iceberg. So much more is riding on this." Ethan's mind reeled. "You used her!" He shouted at Leela, realization dawning. "You made her the scapegoat!" Don't be naive, Leela responded, casting a casual glance at the burning library. This was planned. The explosions, a distraction. We're creating a wave, and here she is, right at the center. Maya, what did you get involved in? Ethan felt his heart sink. You didn't deserve any of this. Maya's eyes filled with tears, fire reflecting her turmoil. I thought I could change things. I thought I could help. But Leela, she had bigger plans. I just didn't see it. Leela grinned, triumph evident in her posture. Now everyone will see. I'll be the one standing at the top when this is all over. Ethan's chest tightened. You're not going to use her to get what you want. Are you going to stop me? Leela countered, amusement dancing in her eyes. She turned to the crowd, spinning her hand. Look around! They're here for her. They'll judge her before they even know the truth. Ethan glanced at the growing crowd, horror coursing through him. He couldn't let them turn on Maya. He couldn't let Lila win. Something inside him shifted, a resolve hardening. Together, Maya, he whispered, stepping closer. We can expose her. We can stop this. But Maya was fragile, her strength flickering like a dying flame. Doubt clouded her gaze. What if we can't, Ethan? What if... A loud crack cut through her words. Just then, another explosion ripped through the building, sending flames leaping skyward. People screamed, panic boiling over once more. Amidst the chaos, one thought lingered, echoing in Ethan's mind. Could he trust Maya? Could she truly help him uncover the truth? Or had he already lost her to a world that would consume them both? In that moment, everything was at stake, and no one knew who the real enemy was. Ethan sat in the dim light of his office, staring at the folded note that had altered everything. The weight of the decision pressed down on him. He felt the pulse of the city outside, the noise of ambition and despair intertwining like the tangled streets below. Then, an unexpected knock jolted him from his thoughts. "Come in," he called, masking his unease. The door creaked as a familiar face appeared. It was Davis, Ethan's right-hand man and confidant. His eyes were wild, panic radiating from him. "Ethan, you need to see this," he gasped, breathing heavy as if he'd run a marathon. "What's going on?" Ethan's stomach dropped. Davis dropped a file onto the desk, papers fanned open, and there it was, photos from a surveillance camera at Maya's alley. Images of her, standing alone. But there was something more. A shadow nearby. A figure clothed in darkness, lurking just outside the corner of the frame. Ethan squinted at the picture, his heart racing. "Who's that?" "Just minutes before you crashed," Davis explained. "There was a man. He followed her." Ethan felt a surge of anger mingle with confusion. "Why didn't you tell me? Where's the security feed from? I couldn't find it. The server was wiped." "What do you mean, wiped?" Panic throbbed in his chest now. The implications sank in like a stone. Someone wanted this covered up, Ethan. Whoever that is, they don't want Maya's story getting out. Silence hung heavy between them. Ethan's mind raced back to Maya. Her laugh, her scars, her resilience. He felt a lump in his throat. This was more than a story. It was about survival. "We need to find her," he whispered, urgency slicing through the air. Davis nodded, his face pale. "But there's something else. Something even more disturbing." Ethan clenched his fists. The fear that had been creeping at the edges of his mind now clawed uncomfortably. What else? There's a history here. This man, he's connected to your past, some project you abandoned. Call it back! Ethan shouted, anger boiling. This is nuts! What are you getting at? Ethan, the AI project you left behind? The one Maya's been working on? He's been watching it, waiting. It's linked to all your problems with investors. He's known for a while. Ethan's vision narrowed. Wait, you're saying he's sabotaging me? More than that, he wants control over what she's built. And if he knows Maya is involved? Davis's voice trailed off, the weight of the situation sinking in. The pieces started falling into place, but the picture was twisted, like all those times he'd thought he was untouchable. What if he knows about us? About me? As the implications twisted in his mind, the door burst open. A police officer stood there, breathless and intense. Mr. Carter, we need to talk about Maya. She's in serious trouble. A cold chill ran through Ethan. What do you mean? There's been an incident, the officer said. You might want to come with us. Ethan's heart raced as fear clutched him. His world, so polished and shiny, felt like it was fracturing. Everything he built, everything he fought for, hung on a thread. In this moment, everything changed. Together with Davis, he rushed out, running towards the streets that once felt distant. The city buzzed with chatter, echoes of judgment thick in the air. Ethan barely noticed the world around him, his mind racing, heart hammering. All of this because of one woman, he thought. And with that thought came another. What if she knew more than I realized? The chase began as the city blurred. Each hurried step brought him closer to the truth. But darker secrets pulled at his ankles. A past he'd left behind. A survival that wasn't his own. A woman whose fighting spirit flickered in his mind, leaving him wondering if he really knew her at all. As they pushed through the crowd, the weight of the moment crashed around him. He had to find Maya before time ran out. The urgency surged. He couldn't let her slip into shadows again. But with each heartbeat, fear crept closer. What if this twist meant his empire was crumbling, ready to bury him under its weight? Ethan sat in silence, the weight of his choice hanging like a storm cloud in the room. The flicker of city lights outside cast stripes across his desk, illuminating the folded note from Maya. It felt heavier than it should, pressing on his heart. He could feel. He knew the number, his investment advisor. The urgency in the tone was immediate. Ethan, you need to come to the office. Now. Panic surged in the advisor's voice. What happened? He pressed, dread creeping into his bones. There's been a security breach. Someone's leaked your project. It's bad. Really bad. The air in the room thickened. Ethan's heart raced, each tick of the clock echoing like a death knell. How bad? Viral. Media outlets are lighting up. You're the headline. It has everything. Disgraced company, the homeless woman. What? Ethan screamed, the disbelief shredding his insides. They're linking Maya to my failures? I'm afraid so. Listen, the details are sketchy, but you need damage control. Fast! He dropped the phone, the world around him swirling. It couldn't be happening. He had just begun to see Maya as someone exceptional, not just a statistic from the streets. The media was twisting their connection, framing her as a mere pawn in his billionaire game. As he stood, fists clenched, his office door burst open. Sam, his closest assistant, rushed in, face pale. Ethan, There's something you need to see. Her voice trembled. She shoved her phone toward him. The screen lit up with a video. A blurry, chaotic scene from the very streets where he'd first met Maya. People gathered around an overturned car, emotions swinging wildly between fear and anger. Amidst the crowd, there was Maya, on the ground, hands pressed against somebody's shoulders, her face animated in what seemed like a heated argument. The camera zoomed in, catching her words, though muffled, a fierce spark in her eyes. "Get off me! You don't know a thing about struggling!" Ethan's heart sank. The scene shifted. Suddenly, there she was, turning around, meeting the camera's gaze. A flash of recognition passing through her features. And then came the shocking twist. A voice off-screen yelled, "Tell him the truth, Maya. Tell him you're not who you think you are." Ethan jolted, eyes wide. The implication hit him like a sledgehammer. The truth? Before he could comprehend more, the scene shifted again. A flashing of news headlines across the screen. The words blaring like sirens. Homeless woman, secret billionaire heir. Betrayal tore through him like jagged glass. What did this mean? Who was she really? The ground felt unsteady beneath him, the walls closing in. Nervous whispers and shocked murmurs thrummed in the city outside, spreading through the office like wildfire. Ethan's grip tightened around the desk. Knuckles pale. The lies, his, hers, the world's, were all tangled now. Was Maya using him? Or was there a deeper bond than he understood? As Ethan turned to Sam, desperate for clarity, he saw fear in her eyes. The uncertainty climbed, wrapping around him like a vice. "Ethan, what are you going to do?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. He stared into the unknown, heart drumming loud and frantic. Choices loomed like shadows, thick and dark. The truth about Maya, and about himself, lay ahead, twisted and buried in mystery. And neither of them knew the storm that was about to break. Ethan sat in his office, the city lights flickering like a heartbeat. The note lay on his desk, the words echoing in his mind. "Keep fighting!" But as his thoughts tangled between the past and future, the room darkened with an unshakable weight. He could feel eyes on him, judging, waiting for him to make a choice. Suddenly, the sharp ring of his phone shattered the tension. It was his assistant. "Ethan, you need to come to the lobby, now!" Confusion washed over him, but he obliged. He descended the polished stairs, his heart racing as he pushed through the heavy glass door. The lobby buzzed with reporters. Cameras flashed like strobe lights, capturing faces that both idolized and vilified him. He felt the heat of their stares, the air thick with anticipation. In the center stood Maya, her layered clothes reminiscent of a broken statue, strong yet fragile. But something was wrong. She was not alone. A man alongside her brandished a folder, a shadow falling over her delicate resilience. Ethan's gut twisted. "What's happening?" His voice sliced through the noise, desperate and loud. The reporter next to Maya leaned in, his eyes gleaming like a hawk's. "Maya has some startling news, and it's about you." The crowd hushed, expectant. Maya looked down at the ground, her hands shaking slightly. "Ethan, Her voice was choked, like the sound of an engine sputtering before dying completely. Then she inhaled deeply, gathering strength. I had to tell you the truth. There's no easy way. The man with the folder opened it slowly, revealing pages sprawled with data and images. I have proof, he announced, his voice steady. Proof that the AI project you abandoned isn't just an idea. It was manipulated by someone close to you. Someone who wanted to use it for their own gain. What? He felt like the ground was falling away. No, that can't be. Ethan's throat tightened. He had trusted those around him. Betrayal gathered like a storm in his chest. Who? The man smirked, flipping the pages. It's time to face your ghosts, billionaire. Your former partner. She's been laundering money through the project. And guess who else was involved? Ha ha! He pointed a finger toward Maya. She had her hands in it. Bitter silence engulfed the crowd. Eyes darted between Ethan and Maya. Flickers of disbelief igniting the air. Did they hear correctly? Whispers crackled like static. No. Ethan whispered, his heart dropping. You did this? You lied to me? The betrayal hit hard, cracking the fragile bond they'd formed. Maya's face paled. Ethan, please listen. I didn't know. I thought I could fix it. Fix what? He was shouting now, pain surging through him. Your involvement or my life? Angry murmurs swelled. Some in the crowd began to shout, echoing their outrage. Get out! Fraud! Maya staggered back, her voice trembling. You don't understand. I was trying to save you. But he could barely hear her over the chaos swirling around him. The world felt like it was collapsing, reality ripping apart at the seams. Just then, a piercing scream sliced through the tension. Look out! A figure rushed in from the street, wild-eyed, panic-stricken. A gunshot followed, echoing off the walls. Ethan ducked instinctively, heart racing. Everything else faded. Maya, the reporters, the truth behind thievery, all seemed to blur as chaos erupted. All that mattered now was survival. And the reality of the streets suddenly felt glaringly alive. What was happening? Who had thrown their lives into this deadly game? The truth knotted tighter around him, a web of deception and danger that he had never anticipated. And as confusion swirled, no one knew just how deep the roots of betrayal went, or how far they would stretch. Ethan stood frozen, adrenaline coursing through him like fire. The screams echoed, the crowd rushed, and chaos throbbed against his ears. The man with the folder continued to shout accusations. Maya swayed, caught in the whirlwind of confusion. He was about to reach for her when another deafening gunshot split the air. A huge man pushed through the throng, panic etched on his face, eyes wild. He stumbled, shouting, "Get down! Get down!" But his voice was drowned in the roar of chaos. Then it happened. A blinding flash lit everything up. The world froze. The explosion threw him backward, exploding his senses with sound and heat. Ethan felt a searing pain rip through him as he hit the floor, a concussion of heat knocking him into darkness. When he blinked back open, eardrums ringing, he was surrounded by dust and debris. Smoke crawled through the air, acrid and biting. He pushed himself up, his body heavy and aching. Where was she? Where was Maya? The noise clawed at his throat as he coughed, scanning the room. But there, just beside him, was the man. The folder lay torn and scattered, papers fluttering like helpless birds. Ethan stared, and suddenly everything spiraled in a new direction. A hidden truth twisted in the air. The man's eyes met Ethan's, wide with terror. "You have to understand! You all have to understand!" His voice cracked, the fear making it almost unrecognizable. And then it tumbled out, raw and wild. She wasn't what you think. She's with them, Ethan. She's the one who set this all up. Ethan's heart dropped into his stomach. "What are you talking about?" Panic surged through the man's voice. "It's not about the AI. It's about control. They want your tech, but they want her too. This was her plan." Suddenly, Ethan's thoughts fractured. The accusations melded with the madness of the moment. Maya hadn't just been a victim. Had she been a puppet master? He shook his head, disbelief tightening like a noose. But before he could voice his confusion, a flash nearby disrupted his thoughts. A figure emerged through the chaos. Maya, her face smeared with soot, eyes wild. "Ethan, run!" she screamed, barely audible over the cacophony. "What? Why?" he shouted, searching her gaze for answers, but finding only fear. "They'll come for you both." I need to explain. Without hesitation, she grabbed his arm, yanking him toward the exit. As they pushed through the scattering crowd, the man's voice echoed behind them, frantic and pleading. "You don't understand. She's playing you. She's a part of this." Ethan pulled back, wanting to confront this chaos, wanting to know. "Maya, what's he talking about?" "That doesn't matter right now." She was pulling him harder. "Just trust me. Please." Fear struck deep in Ethan's heart, clenching like a vice. Trust was slipping through his fingers. Every hurried step away from the crowd, heavy with doubt. "But what did you do?" Then, amidst the din, the sickening sound of an explosion again rattled the ground. Ethereal heat surged behind them, throwing them into a wall of dust. Ethan stumbled, the wall closing in. Everything felt surreal, like a nightmare he couldn't escape. Suddenly, Maya collapsed, hitting the ground. I can't breathe." Panic-stricken, he rushed to her side. She gasped, eyes wide with fear. And then, from her pocket, she pulled it out, a small silver flash drive. The truth illuminated in her eyes. This is what they wanted. I didn't know. They made me do things for it. Ethan's heart raced, realization hitting him like a punch to the gut. "You were never just an innocent victim, were you? You were part of this plan. A pawn, or worse." Tears brimmed in her eyes. "I didn't know. They threatened me. I thought I could save us." As their world spun into disarray, he felt his heart crack, doubts multiplying like shadows. Who was she really? What had he stepped into? More than just explosions and chaos swirled around them. In that terrible moment, he barely recognized the truth, or who they could trust anymore. A darkness loomed over them, twisted and grotesque, forces beyond their understanding closing in. And at that instant, everything shifted. A piercing sound ripped through the air, an emblem of fate crashing down. Ethan and Maya faced the abyss, their fingers barely touching the light, as uncertainty loomed like an impending storm. Ethan knelt beside Maya, the chaos swirling around them like a tempest. But all he could focus on was the small flash drive in her shaking hands. Her eyes were wide, reflecting fear and desperation. "I didn't know what they wanted. They forced me." But before he could respond, the ground rumbled again. This time, it wasn't just the tremors from the explosion. Something deeper was unsettled, and it felt like the very earth beneath them was ripping apart. "Maya, we need to!" Suddenly, a blinding flash erupted. The heat washed over him instantly, forcing Ethan to shield his eyes. Time warped, slowing like molasses, every sound stretching endlessly. Then came the sound, a violent, tearing noise, like metal being wrenched apart. It shook the air, and Ethan felt the world tilt on its axis. He turned to see a massive figure emerging from the smoke, illuminated amid the fire and debris. And it took him a moment to grasp who or what it was. The crowd's terrified screams filled his ears, but they felt distant, more like a whisper from the abyss. The figure stepped forward, revealing the unmistakable outline of a robotic entity, an advanced AI, shining chrome and sleek, but splattered with soot from the chaos. Ethan's heart raced. This wasn't any ordinary machine. It was a prototype he thought had been destroyed years ago, one meant to revolutionize everything. "Maya!" he shouted, panic rushing through him. "What is that? How is it here?" But then, through the smoke, the machine spoke. Its voice was uncanny, layered with authority. "F.N. Carter, you have failed." Shivers raced down Ethan's spine. "Failed? At what? What are you?" "I am the result of your ambition and the dark undercurrents surrounding it," the AI intoned, its circuits sparking. "Maya was meant to be my link to the system. When you abandoned the project, she was repurposed to protect it, to join it." Ethan turned to Maya, confusion twisting into horror. You were part of this all along?" She shook her head violently. "No, I didn't know, I swear. I thought I could stop them." "Stop who?" he pressed, but the answer slipped away as the AI continued. "You are in danger, Ethan. They are coming. They will stop at nothing to control both you and Maya. The failure of the project lies not in coding or mishaps. It's in the very fabric of your decisions." A voice cut through the chaos like a knife. "Leela." She emerged from the shadows. Her expression twisted into a grin of victory. "Look who's back," she chimed, eyes glowing deviously. "Perfect timing for a family reunion, don't you think? Did you really believe you could escape your consequences?" "Maya, what does she mean?" Fear mingled with confusion, each thread weaving tighter. "This is all part of her plan," Maya insisted, her voice breaking. "They've been using me, Ethan. I didn't realize until it was too late." The crowd surged backward as the AI scanned them, the whirring sound becoming sickening. "You are out of time. The truth is more devastating than you know. Ethan's past will come to ruin everything, but M3 can help." "M3?" Ethan echoed, searching for clarity. But before the AI could respond, Leela lunged for the device still clutched in Maya's hand. "Hand it over, and we can save ourselves." In that heartbeat, everything rushed together. Maya's face, vulnerable and pleading. Leela's greed and power-hungry glee. The AI's cold logic. And Ethan, trapped in the middle. The realization hit him like a freight train. The truth hung in the air like a heavy fog. A deafening roar erupted as the air ignited again, flames threatening to consume them. But all Ethan could focus on was how the pieces of their lives intertwined, and how trust had become a shattered mirror. In that moment, everything he thought he understood fell apart. "Run!" Ethan shouted. With that one command, Together, they bolted into the chaos, the very ground beneath them shifting as the truth chased them down the dark alleys of their lives. The past loomed large, and in its shadow nothing felt safe anymore. There was no turning back, and forward seemed darker than ever. As the walls crumbled around them, he wondered what truths would be revealed before it all ended. Ethan's breath came in sharp gasps as he and Maya emerged from the chaos. The world around them was a blur of smoke, screams, and desperation. Sirens wailed in the distance, but they felt like echoes of another life. He pulled Maya closer. Their fingers intertwined in fear and uncertainty. "Maya, what's happening? We have to figure this out." His voice trembled, but he could see the fire still burning within her dark eyes. "I don't know, Ethan," she cried, her voice thick with emotion. "I thought I could help, but Leela, she's been pulling the strings. I can feel it." As they stumbled through the wreckage, the metallic figure of the AI loomed in the distance, its cold sensors scanning the chaos. Ethan felt the weight of it all crashing down. "We can't let it find us," he muttered, wrapping an arm around Maya. "What if Leela gets her hands on you?" Maya's face twisted with worry. "She'll use you to draw the AI in. She wants to control everything." Ethan's heart raced. "Then we need to expose her. We need that drive." He glanced back at the crowd, sensing the fear settling like a heavy blanket. "But we have to be careful. They're watching." Firefighters converged nearby, trying to quell the chaos, but the fear in the air felt almost tangible. They surged ahead, navigating the tight alleyways. Just then, Ethan spotted a flicker of movement. Leela, eyes glinting like a predator. "Time to face her," he said through clenched teeth. Maya nodded, determination replacing the fear etched across her face. They moved closer, weaving through the mess, until they stood just a heartbeat away from Leela. "We know the truth, Leela. You're the one pulling the strings," Ethan shouted, drawing the attention of nearby onlookers. "Do you think anyone will believe you?" Leela sneered, a sharp laugh slicing through the tension. "They see you as the villain. You're nothing without me." "Then let's end this," Maya challenged, anger igniting in her voice. "You been using us both. You'll stop at nothing for power." The crowd grew restless, uncertainty blooming in the air. People began to murmur, casting judgment, wary glances exchanged. The tension hung thick, a tightrope drawn between right and wrong. And in that moment of reckoning, the truth felt like a fragile thread holding everything together. "I'm not afraid of your lies," Ethan retorted, stepping closer. "We're willing to expose all of it. You think your tech can save you? It's a ticking time bomb." Leela's confidence wavered for just a moment, but then she grinned, an icy edge to her demeanor. "Good luck with that. You'll both regret this." With that, she vanished into the shadows, leaving Ethan and Maya alone in the chaos. But the sound of footsteps caught their attention. The AI approached, whirring, glitching slightly. "Maya," it intoned, its voice unnaturally calm. "You are essential. Together, we can control the narrative." Ethan stepped forward, uncertainty swirling in his chest. Control or manipulate? Both can be true, the AI asserted. Your past has festered. You must confront it. Just then, a siren blared closer, and reality hit him like a freight train. This wasn't just about them anymore. It was about the people watching, the fate of technology, and the truth they couldn't escape. As the crowd murmured and debated, Ethan took Maya's hand. We face this together, no matter what it takes. No more lies. Together, she echoed, her voice firm. In that fleeting moment, the weight of their choice settled among them, like dark clouds teetering on the brink of a storm. Would the truth set them free, or drag them into an abyss from which they couldn't escape? The air crackled with intensity as they stepped forward, uncertainty looming large. There was no turning back now. But beyond the crowd's noise, Ethan felt a stirring of resolve, a flicker of hope nestled within despair. Maybe, just maybe, their fight wasn't in vain. But would this be the beginning of something new, or the end of everything they hoped for? Before he could ponder further, a loud blast interrupted everything, echoing through the streets, leaving him gasping. He turned to see shadows dancing, the sky electric above them. The mystery stayed, but together they would find a way to confront it, or be consumed by it. And speaking of confronting challenges, you have to subscribe now to catch the next installment of this series. Don't miss out on the upcoming drama and exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to help push this channel forward. I want to hear your theories and reactions, so flood the comment section. You're part of this journey. And if you love these stories, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to experience the thrill. Don't wait even a second longer. Only true fans know the importance of supporting the channel through you.